All right, hi guys. This is Crypto Jack. We're 12 minutes in. We're gonna kick things off. It is November 10th. We've had a lot of fun activities going on. We have had a... tell you how much we've gone up. We've had a 60% rise in price in about a month. Which I know if anyone's been in Bitcoin for a long time, you're not really surprised by that, but it's actually making a lot of headlines because it's not just any old 60%. It's not like we dumped first and then went 60%. For once, we actually broke out of a very important line, broke above it, consolidated for a period of time, and then came back, retested said line, and we've now started a parabolic advance. Which in a parabola chat is just a curve, just like one of these guys. And what happens is, where am I used to have like, here they are. They got moved. Here. Okay. What happens is price will consolidate and build a floor and then shoot up and then fall back and then shoot up and fall back and shoot up and fall back, or shoot up and consolidate straight into it and continue. So we typically see 3 different things happen. Who's got the bag in RSR? What's up, Whopper? We'll get over there in a minute. Oh shit, I need to catch up on chat here a second. Let me finish this thought real quick. We have one of 3 options. Everyone get your notepads out, okay? If you're watching Crypto Jack, you're taking notes, all right? I'm here to help you guys. A parabolic advance ends in one of 3 ways, or proceeds, I guess, in one of 3 ways. One, let's say we're picking up the conversation like right here. So at this point, the price has 3 options. Option A, it continues until it, finally breaks. Option B, it breaks down and capitulates. When it breaks down, the textbooks tell you it will retrace 80% of the entire move. Okay, and we'll measure that here in just a minute. 80% of the parabolic advance of that. That's option 2. Option 3, you get jebaited. It actually breaks down, but doesn't completely go, and then kisses it from the underside a number of times before it finally pulls back 80% of the entire move. I've seen every one of these scenarios happen in Bitcoin. It is very, very common. And I'll actually show you some examples of each of those. They're pretty simple to find. So, as I said, right now, the market has not made a decision. It hasn't. We all hope it goes up. I can make cases all day as to how it goes up, blah, blah, blah. But the honest answer is we don't know. It's too soon to tell. We are kissing this parabolic advance, and don't make any mistake. If this breaks, if Bitcoin breaks, then so does Ethereum, so does Link, so does everything else that's looking really bullish right now. It won't matter. If this breaks down, everything breaks down. Okay? So let's check a couple examples of where this has happened. Okay, so here's the third example. Was back earlier in the year, back in 2018 going into 2019. And you probably remember this. This is right after, let me give you some context here. 12 hours so you can see. Okay, so Bitcoin had gone all the way to 20K. Everyone's so excited. And then it pulled back and it capitulated. And every time it hit 6,000, it had a bit of a bounce. And they call this particular thing, I mean, it's a descending wedge or whatever. It's a bearish indicator. But the way you're supposed to think of it, because I'm trying to teach you guys, right? The way you're supposed to think of it is you have a bouncy ball, you drop the ball, and every time the ball hits the ground, it gets a little lower, and a little lower, and a little lower. And that's what's happening here. You have a series of lower highs, lower high, lower high, lower high. You're running out of buyers. And eventually you run completely out of buyers to where the floor gives out. And once that happens, anyone who is in a margin position in any of that, they've most likely set their stops below any of the lows. And once you start breaking these lows, it's mayhem. Sheer pandemonium. So after this, starting down in the 3,000 range, we formed the start of a new uptrend, this parabolic advance. And as you can see, it was very well respected. The number of touches is the more touches you have on any kind of trend line, the more respect you can give it, the more you can trust it, the more you can trade it. Okay, so we started with a couple. At this point, you never would have known it was a parabolic move. Right here, you would have had a little indicator because, especially after it broke up like that, now you have 2 data points and one is higher than the other. Okay, so now we're starting to see. But really, it wasn't until the end of this that things started getting really interesting. And I just kind of threw this out there willy-nilly, but you can match it up really nicely so that it gets a lot of touches. And I'm talking about not only down here when it broke, but then right in here as it grinded from 5,000 up to the mid 6s. And then, you know, even in there. So depending on how you draw it. But this is the third option that I was discussing before, is how it can break and then retrace and touch it again from the bottom side. And that's typically like the be completely out by now kind of signal. So why am I talking about that? Because we're making something very similar right now. And I want to make the point that even though I'm very bullish right now, and even though I would love to see Bitcoin do like it did before, last cycle, which is it went all the way to 20K before pulling back 35%. And then continuing it on, I would love to see that. In reality, it may do something like this, where everyone's like, okay, sell, sell, sell. And then it goes to 20K and then it comes back. I mean, that could absolutely be an option. It's hard to know with this stuff. That's why I always say limit your margin trades. All right, let me catch up on chat real quick. Bitcoin, how many Bitcoin should I buy? What's up, man? All of them. Says Mercedes, I love it. A recent Bitcoin convert. So that makes me happy to see. Ether, yeah, we're gonna get to Ether here in just a minute, because I'm very interested in Ether. It's super bullish looking. So understand, for what I go on to, like Link, Ether, etc., all of that goes out the window. All their bullishness goes out the window if this breaks convincingly. Because if it does, like I said, textbook will show you that it'll be an 80% drawdown from this. And let's check where we are on the weekly 20 EMA, which is my personal favorite indicator, because as we've discussed in prior uptrends, this is back in the 2017, literally every touch of the 20 was the support of the entire uptrend. So it's like they used a moving average as the parabolic advance, which is hilarious to me. An exponential moving average on a log chart, which is extra hilarious. So that EMA right now is at just under $12,000. So what I'm saying is, if price fell to 11.8, it's still hella bullish. It doesn't matter. It's just this particular low time frame pattern broke and it needs to consolidate and then we move on. Not a big deal. But you don't panic sell at 12, you know, or like say you woke up one morning and it had dumped in the night and now it's at 12. You don't panic sell there when you know that the EMA, the 20-week moving average is just right around the corner. So trying to give you some confidence here. And again, our 20-week moving average has made an all-time high, which, as we've discussed in prior streams, here, let me make that like a yellow or a green. As we've discussed in other streams, literally every example where the 20-week has been broken, it is the start of a new bull run, and there's no breaks. No matter how scary it looks, every time that is broken, the prior high for that moving average, it goes on to be a new bull run. And again, we are in it. We're several weeks into it, which is exciting because that does not match sentiment. A lot of people don't think that. Okay, let me catch up. Check out the current 4-hour chart and compare it to 2019 consolidation. Yep, I will here in a second. That's absolutely what I like looking at. Atani, buy my AK and gloves. Martin, if you could get the CSGO shit out of here, thank you. What about the support level at the moment for Bitcoin, and what are you banking on out of these three options? Yes. The old, what are you banking on? This. Shrug hands. Because we're not building positions right here. This is not the time to build new positions. We build positions right here. We talked about it on stream. You know, you buy the 20-week moving average. You don't buy when you're 35 to 40% above it. So I've had family that are like, should I buy in right now? And I say, maybe it's the best time, maybe, but maybe it's not. And we don't have an edge up here floating in space. So if you're going to buy, let me rephrase this. If you are like, look, I'm buying, bitch, you better just tell me a price and I'm going to do it. Then what I would say is buy at some point along this parabolic advance. And if you had to have a sell, then somewhere, you know, a couple percentage points below it, whatever. But right now is a decent enough time for a couple reasons. One, we seem to have had a broken out on low time frames, low being the 1 hour to 4 hour. We had a breakout and now a retest, arguably from the top. And if that can hold, then that will be a signal to a lot of money to form new long positions and to continue climbing this advance. Now, and again, I'll get to Ether here in just a minute, so just hold your horses, everybody. But what I want to show you guys is what happened, because I know there's some of you guys already know this, and I know that, so just bear with me. Some of you guys haven't been around for all this, so let me just say this to the guys who haven't been here. This is the last election right here. Okay, this is when Donald Trump was running against Hillary Clinton, and no one knew what was happening, and everyone thought they knew, but then there was like, oh my God, this is all this surprise, what is happening? And what I'm kind of getting is, as far as sentiment, I'm feeling something very similar is going on right now. And what you'll see is there was some consolidation, a break above consolidation, and it went all the way to the prior all-time high within 2 weeks. Okay, so this is date range from the breakout to there. We're on the 4 hour, so hold on, let me switch it to the daily. All right, so in 15 days, that's from the start of the breakdown actually. So 14 days, 2 weeks, the price rose from the consolidation 45%, touched the prior all-time high. And just imagine you how excited you feel seeing that. You're like, oh my God, I made so much money. And then it pulled back 37% from the highs, stopping out anybody with a margin position literally at the breakout. Okay, so this is why I'm trying to caution you. Like, if we're in here right now and this continues to do this thing and we go up and slap 20K, what if you get stopped out below it or you get scared? So I'm trying to warn you here. If this is a long-term play, do it, buy it, tuck it away. Don't forget, you know, who cares? It'll make money. But if you're looking for like the best opportunity, this, I would not say that where it is right now is absolutely the best opportunity. Now, what's interesting here is, again, we're talking about the 20-week moving average. Let me turn my 20 back on. Okay, that's what this blue line is. When it touched the all-time high and then sold off, look where it stopped. Okay, so this is why we keep referencing back to the 20-week. Until this breaks, until this doesn't work anymore, we're going to be using this and we're going to be discussing this. But again, look how far away from that we are right this second. We're 33% above it. So odds are good at some point we'll come back and revisit it. Doesn't mean it's not in 6 weeks where like this continues to climb, but price is sideways. But you never know. You never know. So I'm trying to give you options. I'm trying to educate you and let you guys make your own decision. All right, but for now, everything looks really good on this uptrend because we are respecting this parabolic uptrend here. You know, 3 touches here, 3 touches here, and we have not broken below. We have lots of chances to, but we haven't yet. Okay. Catching up on chat real quick. I'm banking on that wet ass pussy. That's right. That WAP. That's why I have my WAP line always listed here. somewhere. I may have to zoom out more than I can right now. Pentago with the with the charts. Tier 3 subs get those really cool emotes, by the way. I'm so new, I can have a maximum of 4 emotes. I can't get any more than that. It's actually kind of funny. All right, Atani, you don't want him to look at Ether. He will just jinx it. Wow. Wow, Tex. Here's some heroin, kids, but do your own research. Yeah, it does kind of feel that way. Well, that's why I'm trying to put the fear of Jesus in you too, to say like, look, this is a long way down and it could fall tomorrow, but that's why we've built positions here and not up here. And we are, you know, we make these decisions with purpose. All right, I'm cashing out shit and going into full crypto early 21, trying to figure out if I should do it in December or January to March. It's an entire 21 play and cash out late 21 most likely. That's why I'm asking this question. You understand the market much better. Okay, so let's talk broad picture. This is good. These are good questions. I glaze over this kind of stuff a lot, so I like kind of the beginner questions, quote unquote. It's not a big deal. All right. Let us look at how the halving has affected bull runs. Turn off this weird blue line. Okay. Each of these orange vertical lines represents the halving. Let's put it on weekly so we can see kind of like everything. There we go. All right. So early days. This is 2012. We had our very first halving and immediately we go on this massive bull run. All right. Then we have the second halving where we're in mid 2016. And what was it? About 6 months later, we attacked the all-time high, broke it, and the following December was the next all-time high. So essentially it was like from the break of the prior all-time high to the next one was 12 months. It was effectively January to December or January to January. Now, look what price is looking like it's doing. Like you're just the eyeball test, right? We're not busting out TI-83s. We're not looking at calculators. We're just going to eyeball it. We are very close to the prior all-time high. And let's see. This was us back last cycle. Okay, so that's just why I say I could absolutely see something very similar happen where we shove up and we just do this dance for about 3 months at the, you know, where people are taking profit or getting out of old positions or blah, blah, blah. That's like a really useful line. It'll be a good metric and something good to watch. But again, I'll be watching the 20 weekly moving average and to see how price reacts to that. That being said, when you should get into it, a really smart play would be to wait for an attack of the prior all-time high, potentially, right? No crystal balls here. But an attack of the all-time high and some kind of sell-off where you then enter. So you can actually wait and see. Is that January? Is that March? Is that December of this year? Like, you know, we'll just wait and see. That being said, let me show you why I have preferred to build positions here and wait and see versus like sell in anticipation of a big sell-off and like try to front run a sell-off. And it comes down to how gold treated its prior all-time high. So gold hit its prior all-time high in August of 2011 at about 1,900 bucks. And as it attacked its all-time high, it actually broke way above it and has been arguably consolidating at it, below it, whatever. But more than likely, we're going to see a continuation here. I'd be very surprised if gold does not continue. But if you just instinctively sold the prior gold all-time high, you would have missed on about another 10% move. And that's what's kind of, I mean, Bitcoin, as much as it likes to repeat the past, it's never exactly the same. And that's what you gotta leave some room for error here. Like where, hey, maybe I don't have it exactly figured out or crystal balled to death. So you never really know. Never really know. Okay, let me catch up. Would taxes affect this? Yeah, I think a lot of these moves are affected by tax positions. Like for example, let me show you. Let's zoom way in here. Let me switch it to the daily. Okay, let's see how the last assault of the all-time high looked. All right, so December 31st, let's say the last couple weeks of December was in here, and arguably when a lot of people were leaving their positions, they were selling off. People who worry about taxes, they have a big enough pot that this is something that concerns them. On January, this is January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and then the 4th is what actually hit the prior all-time high. Probably a lot of people making their entries without any, without worrying about the long-term implications. And then you had a bunch more like smart money, I guess I'd call it, entering along this parabolic advance, which again was the 20-week moving average. So everywhere in here, in my opinion, was a lot of people preparing for the next year. I don't have the statistics to 100% say, oh yeah, this was, this publicly traded company and that publicly traded company. This is more of like a gut feel, because of the way that the price moves so strongly. But at the same time, you have a lot of guys that once they get in crypto, they don't get out of crypto. They leave all their capital in it, and they just pivot to like Tether or USDC, or maybe they open a margin short when they're ready to sell. But they never actually sell their physical Bitcoin for cash. So it's hard to know. Especially it's going to be hard as hell to know what's going on this time when you have so many publicly traded companies who do have to worry about taxes, and there's so many of them involved. But again, this is just setting up so cleanly for one last shove, or maybe like a little fake out breakdown and then a shove. We got plenty of time, right? We're early November. We've got 6 weeks or so of data. So we have out till here, just looking at the chart. That's plenty of time to do whatever's going to happen. Even if it's a little breakdown, consolidate, uptrend, slap, down. So who knows? Who knows? Lots of options, lots of things I'm going to be watching for. The biggest one, and I'll tweet it out as soon as I see it, but the biggest one's going to be a break of this parabolic uptrend. This is the big deal. But right now, we're bullish because we have broken. See all these wicks? Every time it touched the supply line, with this one exception, every time it touched the supply line, it was sell-off city. Now we've broken it not once, but actually a second time. And we're not returning down to the prior, I'm going to say trade range, like this trade range, because price is holding above all this. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, Tex Army. Jack's YouTube channel has some old discussions with good baseline. Yeah, so down below me in my description stuff, there's a link to my YouTube. I only have like 4 or 5 videos up, but every single video has a link to whatever topic we discuss, like a timestamp. So if there's something that interests you, you can like slow it down, speed it up, whatever, go through it. Talks a lot about indicators in the background of why Bitcoin and the difference with alts. Yeah, absolutely. At what point do you stop calling the little breakdown and turn it into a breakdown? Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Whenever you have these parabolic uptrends, honestly, any sort of breakdown is a sell signal. But what you typically see when it's not done and it goes like back to touch the prior, to make new highs or whatever, is it'll break down and you'll find yourself going, huh? Well, because you'll get like lots of consolidation, multiple bars, a day, 2 days, whatever. And you're like, well, why didn't it sell off? Like, what's going on? And typically that is where that's your sign to like re-enter, and then it goes up. And I believe that's what happened earlier in the year too. We can actually scroll back far enough to see. Yeah. Okay. So that was just, so everyone's drawing little charts like, okay, what's going on? What's happening? Okay, there's some touches there. Oh, it broke. And then at the same time, You had two things break. You had this little meme line, but you also had this parabolic advance break. And you see how when it broke, yeah, it broke down. But then it like refused to actually make any new lows. It had tried once or twice, and then you had a higher low, another higher low, and by that point the market's like, oh, you almost got me. You almost got me, Bitcoin. And it went from, at the time, 7,500 to 14,000, almost doubled, and gave this little meme kiss up at the top. But that's hard as hell to trade, guys. So don't think there's like some really simple crystal ball way to do it. It's not. Any kind of break of a parabolic advance is like an exit signal, and you actually that's the conservative way to play, and then you look for a way to re-enter. So right now we have not seen the exit signal. That's like the bat signal, the canary in the coal mine, whatever you want to call it. In fact, we've seen just the opposite, that if you had sold because this line scared you, then maybe we've got a breakout. Maybe now's the time to re-enter. All right. When Atani tweets Jack, Jack Red Wedding. Yeah, actually, I like when you do that. It's actually funny. And then anytime I tweet the chick with like, it's like Carrie or something, but she's just doing this and there's blood raining down on her. Anytime you see that as well, that's me saying like, GG, that's it. It's over. All right. I think I've caught up on chat. Yeah, when he tweets the capitulation rain photo. Exactly. Yeah, Alka knows. That's what's up. All right, so let's look at Ethereum. Let's look at Ethereum by itself, and then we're going to look at... Actually, Schmitcoin. Is this what you were talking about? Because this is what I've been watching, like, forever. I just added... Hold on. I just added that, but it is kind of a meme deal. What I've actually been banking on is this. So, chat, for those of you who are new, let me show you this. I built this little comparison just so you guys could see this, because I know a lot of you enjoy this kind of stuff. Okay, so when when Bitcoin last fell, this is last cycle, okay, last fell to 150 bucks, and people were tweeting like, oh, this is the end. You know, it's a failed experiment, bullshit. It made this particular pattern, which is called, if you are interested in looking this up later, Wyckoff accumulation. You little bitch. There we go. I want one that's not drawn on. Thank you. If you not be dumb. All right, I'm just gonna have to pull up the page, aren't I? Ah, here we go. Okay, Wyckoff accumulation. And I go over this, I feel like, every single stream, but it is so important. And again, what it is big money entering and exiting certain positions. Okay, like big positions. And what you have is the whales they're the ones helping shove the price down, and then they have their nets open. They're like, yeah, sell into me. No, you're right. This is the failed experiment. You know, Bitcoin's gonna suck. It's gone. You know, it's dead. Oh yeah, dead. Hey, CNN, my guy at CNN, if you could please process an article that says Bitcoin's dead. Thank you. Hey, JP Morgan Chase, you guys hate Bitcoin, right? Yeah. Hey, put out a deal that you hate Bitcoin. And it's like everyone's kind of rallied together about how much they hate Bitcoin. And meanwhile, the guys, this is like there's a lot of planning that goes into this. These big boys are sitting there with open bid positions. They're ready. They're waiting, and they're buying into it. And as soon as it starts to rise, you have the overhead resistance guys, the guys who are stuck in their positions. They sell, and they are a form of sell pressure. But you also have the guys who are down here buying, who are like, no, I don't own enough yet. No, and they're selling as well as the typical market. And so what you tend to look for is two things: one, a trade range to form, and then second, a break to the lows, a retrace into the trade range, and then a break above with some consolidation. So now let's look back at Bitcoin specifically. The top is Bitcoin, bottom is Ethereum. You can probably already see the parallel that I'm about to draw. But in case you don't, let me cover it real quick. Bitcoin formed its trade range, broke it a time or two, highs, lows, massive terminal shakeout, spring, whatever you want to call it, rally to the upside, and then multiple weeks / months of consolidation. And what did it go on and do? Pulled a 100x from the lows. I mean, this is where parabolic advances really start. It is this. It takes this kind of market control where the whales are just vacuuming up as much as they can. Okay, so that brings us to Ethereum and why I am macro bullish Ethereum despite being a Bitcoin maximalist. Because I'll tell you all day, I think Ethereum's got issues and I don't trust it and yada, yada, yada. But the charts don't lie and I respect the charts and it is what it is, you know? And what we see here is a very similar structure to Bitcoin. And I mean, from the low break to the highs to the lows to the terminal shakeout to the break above, the consolidation above, and now what appears to be the breakout. Now, one of two things could be happening. Either we are actually breaking out and it's just balls to the wall and here we go, or we're going to be redrawing trend lines, which is what I had when I first pulled this up. And we have, you know, several more weeks / months of consolidation. Time will tell. I honestly don't know. I like this particular breakout because on the dailies, there's so much activity along this. It's very clearly broken. And not just like ever so slightly, but like a massive move to the upside. And the fact that Ethereum has front run several big Bitcoin moves has me very bullish that this particular trend line is going to continue to hold for the foreseeable future. So we'll see. Time will tell. This is not financial advice. Don't go margin trading your life savings away and your grandma's, you know, retirement check and all that shit. But it does look very, very promising. All right, let me catch up on chat. Bitcoin going to call out the lack of volume on Wyckoff. Nah, I'm eating Raisin Bran out the box, bro. Damn, okay. Okay, I just want to pause to say I just saw the little ticker go to 20, which is a huge deal for me. This is so 20 live concurrent viewers is really cool. So this is new, you know, that I remember when it was 1 or 2 and I was here like night after night, week after week grinding. So 20 is cool. So anyway, thank you guys for being here. Much appreciated. It just really helps me, you know, stay motivated. Bitcoin, this colon ain't gonna blast itself. Yeah. Somebody's got to get their colon blasted, and right now it looks like it's the Bears. Let me just say that. Grayscale has 115 million worth. Yeah, we'll get into Grayscale. I absolutely plan to get into that here in a minute. Jack had a customer talking crypto today. Do I remember you mentioning US? Yeah, it's USDC. US coin is USDC, and it's just a stable coin. It's just like it's like the dollar or Tether or whatever. It's equal to $1. It's an IOU for $1. That's all it is. Concurrent users due for a parabolic retrace. Oh shit, come on, man. Come on, don't do that. What's a margarine trade? Asked the Turk. Okay, we're gonna skip right over that. Thank you, sir. Basically a loan to buy more than you can buy with. Atani says, God damn it, look at the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. Bro. Whoa, I clicked on you and like all kinds of things. All right. I'll tell you what I mean, you may not like it, but let's have a look. Let's breathe it in. I don't normally look at Ethereum Bitcoin, so give me a minute to process what I'm looking at. Ooh, I immediately like, okay. Quick market lesson, guys. Quick market lesson. Price doesn't go like Bitcoin. Bitcoin didn't go from $150 straight to 20,000, right? I mean, everyone kind of gets that. Like, oh yeah, no, there was like spots in between and stop offs and stuff. So one of the things that in a massive parabolic uptrend, one of the big things you see is a trade range form, which actually ends up being a base. It's like building a structure. You need a very strong base before things continue on. And then when the price moves up, it will often come back and retrace to test that base before it continues on. It's very common, very normal. So what I'm seeing here is a base that had a retest, which actually is forming another base, which literally just had another retest. And that looks very bullish to me. Add to the fact that Ethereum price looks like it does, right? Which we just looked at. And the fact that we've just made a higher high on macro time frames. And at the same time, we're breaking above the 20-day exponential moving average. Yeah, this looks really good. This would effectively be like buying it in here prior to the last run up. It would be something very similar. Now we need this to hold, obviously, but this is really good looking. I like that. By the way, guys, and Atani, don't let your erection, break your table or anything. But if Ethereum does what Bitcoin did, remember, Bitcoin went from the lows of 200. If this was a Bitcoin chart, this would be about $200, maybe even a little bit lower, all the way to 20,000. Okay, that's a 100x return. So if you called the bottom of this Ethereum trade range about $100, then your price target would be $10,000. So 10,000 Ethereum. And a lot of things have to happen. I always have to put this disclaimer, but you can't be 100% sure of where the top will be. You can't call tops right now. It's not how it works. But if it does what Bitcoin did, it would be $10,000. It's just, it is. It's just math. It's not a thing to argue. It would be. One thing to note, and a little back pat for myself, and I think I even have the clip on Twitter somewhere, but I was trying to boldly say, what if this is a sign of strength? What this is telling you is that forever into history, into the future, that you will not be able to buy, at least until the top, and who knows what happens after that, but you will not be able to buy sub $300 Ethereum again. That's it. That ship is sailed. You're done. So you're gonna see me retweet the shit out of that if that actually ends up being true. Oh my god. But again, it wasn't just some bullshit rabbit out of a hat thing. It was Mr. Bitcoin Schmitcoin, who's in the chat here, was a big teacher of mine for Wyckoff. He opened my eyes to Wyckoff. And so he's got a trading group. He's got all kinds of resources. If you guys are interested, hit him up. He and I tweet back and forth all the time. We play games together, so I can always connect you. But he's a really good source. He's not going to tell you buy here, sell there. He's not. So don't expect that. But he will plug you in to some good resources, which ironically enough is a good segue. But before I segue into what the next thing I'm going to show you, let me catch up on chat real quick. All right, so official Baldy, won't Ethereum 2.0 improve ETH overall and affect buyers? Tried reading about it, but I get mixed info. Atani's been looking at his watch since 46 minutes ago for this exact moment. Yeah, I'm gonna come back to you, Baldy, but let me see if there's other Ethereum questions. I can kind of like answer all of them at once. So let me see real quick. Alka, POS is hard to transition. That's why there's mixed opinions. Don't know what POS stands for. Talk to me. Ethereum runs on miners running it. Yeah, 2.0 goes proof of stake. Okay. Let me explain what the difference is for Ethereum 1.0 and 2.0. Right now, Ethereum runs much like Bitcoin. There are computers. I'm going to simplify this. Alka, don't yell at me. But there are computers that are crunching really complicated puzzles. And if my computer or your computer was the first to solve the puzzle, then you actually get a reward. And that reward is a certain number of Ethereum. Just like in Bitcoin, currently it's a certain number of Bitcoin. That changes depending on some things, but that's why when we talk about the halving for Bitcoin, and we go back and we talk about these vertical orange lines, on one side of these halvings, leading up to it, there is a certain amount of Bitcoin every 10 minutes that a miner gets as a reward. And typically the miner will then just sell it into the market because he's got to offset his own costs. He has electricity and personnel and equipment and, you know, blah, blah, blah. So typically when there's a halving, you will almost immediately see an uptrend as a result of the miners. They physically can't sell as much as they were before, right? Because now they are only getting half the reward. So on this section of the vertical orange line, they got 50 Bitcoin per 10-minute block. Now on this side, they're only getting 25. It is literally halved. And then on this side, they're only getting 12 and a half, which is leading me to where we are today. We have only a few months back. We are now in the 6.25 epoch, where every 10 minutes, a miner gets 6.25 Bitcoin plus some extra stuff, like they call it mining fees. It's basically what you pay the miner to mine your particular. They get like all the transactions that were in that block. They get like all that money. It's like a bunch of money in the tip jar, and they get the whole jar. So anyway, back to Ethereum and why we're talking about this now. Ethereum is transitioning from a bunch of computers solving puzzles to be the one to like move the blockchain along, right? And the reason they call it a blockchain class, right? This is college class here. I expect you guys to know this stuff. Is because every one of these 10-minute blocks, or for Ethereum, it's shorter. It's like 2 minutes or 3 minutes or something. Is a computer linked the next block to the existing block. So if this is the main chain, let me say MC for main chain, and it like literally just now your computer solved the next puzzle. Well, you say that, hey, the next transactions are in my block, and look, I got this block and I get the rewards. So everyone who sent Ethereum within this block, it is now done. You know, done. It happened. What is going to happen and how this is going to change is 2.0. So let's say this is 1.0, and you have computers that are mining it. So I'm going to say mining in my trash ass mouse writing. Now you have staking. Oh my God, that says staking. That says staking, guys. Now it's more like there's a pie. There's a number of Ethereum in the pie, and if you staked or put some Ethereum into that particular pool, then you represent a certain percentage of the overall. You represent 1%, let's say. So now, as there are rewards, you get 1% of the rewards, and you have 1% of the say of what's going to happen next. And so what they're trying to do is to pivot out of the graphics processing, like the GPU arms race, which is all that Bitcoin is right now. I mean, let's be real. It's just bigger and bigger data centers working on this. And they're trying to pivot from that to a proof of stake, which is less energy intensive, less miners working on it, on and on and on. So that's what they're trying to do. Now, here's where things get scary. When Bitcoin makes changes like this, they do what's called forking. So let's go back to our 1.0 example right here. They fork the chain, and they say, hey guys, you know, we're doing things like this, but coming up, we're actually going to split the chain. And we're going to say, now there are two chains, and the miners can pick. The miners can actually decide which chain they want to pursue. Okay? And based on whatever's different between the two chains. But they do it this way because they think it's the most fair. So like, say you had 5 Bitcoin before the split. Now you're going to have 5 of the first chain and 5 of the second chain. So you really have 5 of both. So if one goes to 0 and the other is like what everyone deems to be, you know, the next real Bitcoin, well, you're not impacted because you have both. So it doesn't matter. Whatever. All my S's. Yeah, sorry guys. Here's what's scary about proof of stake, about this particular proof of stake that Ethereum is talking about. They're going to go from what is existing directly to Ethereum 2.0. There is no rollback. There is no chain split. It just is what it is. And, you know, I hope it works. I really do. But anything like that is awful scary. It's awful scary. So that is where like bad things could happen. So time will tell. We'll see. So as you can hear, I'm nervous about Ethereum. I'm kind of hesitantly bearish about it. Long term. But when Wyckoff speaks, you listen. And Wyckoff is sitting here whispering sweet nothings into our ear saying, this has been accumulated. Someone has spent 2 years accumulating this and it's going to go up. So don't miss the ride. And I have to accept that. All right, I'll delete all that stuff here in a little bit. All right, let me catch up. Get a digital pin. I know this is like painful as hell. I could show a video of professional mining software. Snake eating marbles. Like Y2K. Yeah, essentially. I mean, that's my tinfoil hat is that something like that will happen. But maybe it's like, you know, during the Bitcoin uptrends, there's always something scary to pull the price back 30%, even after the prior all-time high is broken. And then there's a new uptrend, and then something scary happens, and then a new one, and then something. But really all it is just touches. But something in the moment, there's always like news to go with it. So I wonder if that's gonna, like, if this is Ethereum breaking its all-time highs and like going to new ones, I'm wondering if that's gonna be something in the news cycles in the future that causes like a 30 or 40% pullback. Okay, Alka is suggesting something really smart. Let's look at professional Bitcoin mining operations. And let's see if we can find one. Chat, if you find... Oh, yes. Yeah. Here we go. This is what we're talking about. When I was saying... Hold on. Open... Image and new tab. Here we go. When I was saying this has become an arms race, it literally has been. So to put this in perspective, this is one particular GPU mining facility out of China, but this is representative to the whole. This is what it is. This is what it's like now. So if you are going to try to mine for profit, you have to be up to this scale. So it is insanely intensive. And like Alka was saying, this is what Vitalik is trying to pivot from. So another good segue, Alka, and I will send you the Bitcoin for setting up my segues here as usual. This is an article written yesterday. Bitcoin hash rate surges 46% in one day. Yesterday, the hash rate of Bitcoin increased from 1.12 exahashes to 112 exahashes to 164, according to current data. Now, there's a chart I typically look at, and I let me show you real quick. Bitcoin hash rate. I pull this up lots of times. It's off of blockchain.com. But here's the deal: it will not show it because they don't provide real-time data. So this is as of some point like between the 8th and the 9th. But this article was using real-time data. So we will see this reflected in this chart probably by next stream. This will have updated enough for us to see it. So the hash rate rose by 60% over the entire week. And a lot of ASIC miners are joining the network. But apparently this is a particular event where there's some sort of migration. And I believe, from my limited understanding, it's something to do with floods in the region. And they have to play some games with balancing that. So they will actually move these miners. But anyway, according to him, the electricity contracts of these miners end on October 25th. Okay, so maybe that's what it had to do with. This migration is talking about. This latest upturn has been preceded by the biggest recalculation of difficulty ever since 2011. Just a week ago, this fell by 16%. So, Weag. Hey, thanks for the gifted sub, Pants. I appreciate it, man. Weag on Reddit, or on Reddit, on Twitter, You asked if an increase in hash rate means that the price will go down. So I wanted to get into that because it's a little bit nuanced. And again, Pants, I appreciate you with the gift sub, buddy. Real. So there is some nuance to it. And this can all be debated. So nothing I'm telling you is like 100% gospel truth, you know, but this, I will tell you my perspective and you can do your own research. So let's just put it that way. Let's first analyze what happened here and think about why they may have done it, because it also plays into the bigger picture of how miners think. Enough mining equipment went offline. So let's just start with this, because you may not even understand this. The more mining pieces of mining equipment, the more of these that are fighting for Bitcoin, the harder the difficulty gets. So remember, we said Bitcoin is just miners are solving really complicated puzzles. The more puzzles, or the more people that are fighting to solve that puzzle, the more complicated that puzzle becomes. So imagine it goes from like a kindergarten level to like, college level or beyond. And so just based off of like how many people are trying to fight for that one particular block. So here's what I'm getting at. What this particular group did is they removed enough of their stuff. Whether this was accidental or intentional, I don't know. But there was enough of their mining equipment that removed from the network, no longer fighting. And that the difficulty could readjust to a particular level. And then all of a sudden they came all of them back online. So the difficulty it's like 2 weeks between readjustments. So during that period, they're solving easier puzzles with more equipment. So they will most likely average win more pieces of the pie, like more of the Bitcoin blocks. So to get to your question, does it going up mean that price is going down? In short, no. In fact, what you typically see is the hash rate will be going up prior to bull runs, almost in every case. It's actually kind of hard to show on log scale. Yes. Okay. So 2017. Oh, this didn't even start until 27. Okay, so even during the bear market, the hash rate was rising. And as we're starting, arguably, even from the highs of 2017, we are, what's 8? Yeah, we're, what is that multiple? 50 times? No, 30, 20 times, just pure. It's stupid. It's stupid. Where the highs are at 165 exahashes, whatever. So we're about 20 times higher than we were at the prior all-time highs. So there's 20 times more computing power, raw computing power, fighting for a winning block, and there's been a halving in between. So they are winning less. So they are expecting for the price to go up in a way where it justifies them throwing this much computing power at it to win a block. This is crazy. So that's pretty wild. Where you might see a small time frame sell off at like the all-time high or some of these really key levels, because you'll read reports about miners doing that. And in fact, you can monitor, I think it's through Grayscale. No, I'm sorry. Grayscale is the company you can go through. Glassnode. Glassnode has a free account, and you can actually get data to watch the Bitcoin moving from the miners' wallets to exchanges. You can actually see them like, okay, every so often this particular miner wins and immediately sends, 5 Bitcoin to be sold or whatever. So there's a way to monitor that. And as we push up to new highs and stuff, we'll absolutely be watching for that. I've reached out to Glassnode to see if they will sponsor me, quote unquote, and give me some like a premium data pack so we can for free, because it's like It's stupid money to get some of that, to get access to that kind of data. By the way, look at this breakout and how it's behaving. So we have a breakout, a retest, and now it's starting to grind up again. What we don't want is a break back into the trade range. So basically a new low from that low it's set, because that would suggest if we're going to go break in, we'll most likely continue down and it will end up being a break. Okay. By the way, Weag, I wanted to say this too. I had it in my notes that you can't see. I love that so much. Hey, it's my notes. So think of a rise in hash rate. Think of it as miners buying Bitcoin. Hold on, there we go. Miners are buying Bitcoin with electricity. So as the hash rate is rising, they're buying more Bitcoin using their electricity. So they're using electricity like we use dollars. It's their medium, and it's what they use to get more Bitcoin. And it's not necessarily just to sell it instantly, because that wouldn't make sense. It's a lot of times, especially at this point in the cycle, they are expecting an upthrust or some kind of parabolic move to the upside. All right, Tex Army timed out Alka. Don't time him out. What'd you do? Okay, I saw he asked him to time him out. Yeah, you bastard. Don't. Why? Well, he didn't delete your comments. Whenever you time someone out, they just disappear. It's just what happens. He was just being silly. So, Alka, what were you saying about you could run the DeLorean in Back of the Time, Back to the Future, plus a city block? Yeah, that's what it shows on my end. It says 25 deleted by a moderator, but that's just it's just what happens when someone times you out. Here, watch. Let me show you. There. Did you see? Did you see? All right, untimed out. All right, let's see. What else? Less than 1.21 gigawatts, as in from Back to the Future. Yeah. That's pretty wild. That is pretty wild. Okay. That hash rate increase was 1.53 gigawatts. Holy shit. Okay. That's awesome. Are you talking about the one that went from the 2017 high to where we are today, or the one that just happened, you know, from that article? Wow, just on this article. Holy shit. So that's just like in a couple days. Wow. Okay. I'll tweet that out later. That's crazy. Okay, guys. One other thing I wanted to show you is ThePatternSite.com, which is Bulkowski. And this is actually a really slept on, underrated site to see like what are the odds of something happening. So for example, let's say we had a bull flag, right? That would be crazy though. Where would we find a bull flag or some sort of bullish pattern? Oh my god, we found one. Let's see if we actually have. Was that an ascending? No. It's not a rising wedge, but I want to see if it links to like several others. X. Ah, yes. Okay. I love all these. There's so many things. An ascending, broadening wedge, on and on and on. Pretty good. A running triangle, is that what this would be considered? Yeah, okay. Let's just roll with it. Let's just pretend that I am like a god tier TA trader, which I'm not. And let's say that this is technically a running triangle. I don't know. But let's just see. All right. So what you would do, you would say the pattern site, running triangle, whatever. And it would actually not give you shit. That was so worthless. Come on, Bulkowski. I'm trying to show off for you. Let's just use ascending triangle because this is close enough. Okay. So you can actually, let's say you recognize the pattern, but you don't really know what the odds are, but you're curious and you're like, man, I wish that it would really affect my trade if I knew exactly what the performance was. Well, that's what Bulkowski actually does. So overall, so for this particular pattern, this little meme, an ascending triangle, which we have seen several of. This could be eventually, like if this takes more of its sweet time, it could potentially be that, or it's just going to go ahead and break out, right? So, but let's just pretend like it's that. All right. So what can we say about this? Well, we can say that the volume trends down at least 78% of the time during that triangle. So we could turn on our volume indicator and see if volume seems to be trending down. And so we're basically in it here. Let me move my dealio. Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty fair assumption. Also at this breakout, we have this little meme push. So it could be that this is the better pattern. But, you know, again, we're just playing kind of devil's advocate. But this is like a thought exercise. Yeah, this page was made in 1934. This page, but whatever. The data's good. Trade the data. So what it teaches you is how to measure it. So, okay, we measure from A to B, and then that is your up move. That's the target of your up move. Okay, well, A to B is from here to the top of the triangle. Let's just be conservative, call it there. That's a $42 move. So your breakout target would be $42 from here. Get out of my face. Thank you. So this is how like TA traders would actually trade this on like hourly candles, stuff like that. And you can see that would be a new high, whatever, on and on. Again, I don't think that's necessarily what this particular pattern is. I think it's way too clean with all these touches and then a break and a retest and a move to the upside. So I think this is something different, but I just wanted to give you an example of how you could use the pattern site, because you might spot some stuff that you're like, man, I know I've recognized that, but I don't know what the performance is. Like, for example, I just saw one earlier, a descending triangle, which is what the 6K, that's actually not what I wanted. I wanted a descending wedge. There's even descending broadening wedges. Oh, and then he also has busted stuff, which is really cool. So if price breaks down but then returns to the trade range, he even shows you like how to target that. Anyway, I'm sprinkling some seeds of, you know, information. If this is something you're interested in, this site is really, really interesting. You could spend hours studying this. I don't necessarily trade this way. I trade like this to see what the breakouts are. And I also trade like flags or pole, flag, pole. That's more what I look for than like the particular pattern that's forming. But you guys may find that interesting. So there you go. Link is something else that is of interest to me. Check that out real quick. Turn my volume back off. I just feel like it clutters things when we're trying to look at this. Link has this little meme line it's running. And in fact, Link Bitcoin, it also has this little meme line I'm watching. Okay, what the hell is that? That goes back to early 2019. This is on the Bitcoin pair. So it's also been arguably a little retest here. So we'll see. Time will tell how Link actually performs compared to Bitcoin, but for now it's looking pretty good. Ethereum, I cannot find a single alt that looks better from a macro perspective than Ethereum looks. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just saying it. It looks really, really good. Even on the 1 hour. Look at that breakout. The consolidation looks so good. Let's see. Did you help design that site? That's actually a good question. A very good question. Okay. So that's it for my prepared information stuff. Bitcoin hash rate. The pattern site, parabolic advances. Yeah, I think we've covered the majority of it. CVC. Alka has been blowing my ass up to look at CVC. Okay. Wow. Wow. Go back. Jesus Christ, dude. It looks like somebody's bot like ran away from him. Yeah, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. But hey, maybe it's awesome. Let's see. What is this at the bottom you're saying? All right, so I see a pretty clear trend here. I see a clear trend here. I mean, maybe this is a stretch and a half here, okay? And I fully admit this. But maybe this is like some sort of inverted head and shoulders meme. And then this is like the play out of that. Like all in like 4 candles. Like, I don't know. I just don't see anything that would make me jump into that. You do see like this right here was a clear head and shoulders, which typically will break to the downside, but it refused. So that was really interesting. I mean, that's bullish, but it's not like pull a 4x bullish. A 6x, pull a 6x in a week. Yeah, no, get that out of here. I don't even know what to make of charts like this. There's nothing to think about it. I mean, let's like pull up the 20 daily moving average. The daily is down 30% with the price, like 60% below it. I don't know. Loom? I actually don't have a Loom chart. Let me check that out. I know that's OG as hell though. Loom USD. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's almost identical. To see this as a percentage of gains, the CVC is wildly crazy. Like whoever's in these positions, I don't think they're ever going to get out of them once this pulls back. I mean, but who knows? Maybe there's something crazy we don't know about. This is like where it's like, holy shit, NASA spaceship runs on CVC, and then everyone runs out and buy, you know, or whatever. This looks more manageable. Like that makes sense to me. You got this this kind of like trade line that goes back. There's been some touches above and below. I get that. CVC is just like stupid. The low cap coins. Okay, now, oh, you know what? You bring up a great point, though. You do bring up a great point. A big part of trading, guys, is understanding market sentiment. And if you've been in Bitcoin or in crypto for any length of time, you're going to understand what I'm about to say. I have many friends that say, I don't want to buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. I want to buy one of something or lots of some things. And then if it goes up in value, then I've made a lot of money. Like, that's how they think of it. They don't want to buy a 1/10 of a Bitcoin. They'd rather buy a bunch of XRP or whatever. That sentiment is actually really common right around the time we break prior all-time highs. The last time a lot of alts pumped, and I mean like sweaty pumps, 10x pumps, alt season pumps, was during this cycle right here. It's when it was clear, when the Bitcoin price action made it clear that we were going to attack the prior all-time highs and then continue and start a brand new uptrend. The last time this happened, a lot of alts popped. Let me show you some examples. So here's my little comparison deal. You delete out some of this stuff to clean it up. Okay. So this white line is the prior all-time high. I'm going to show you just to kind of help make my point here. Again, if we are where we were last cycle, we're somewhere kind of in this. This was the election. Slapped the prior all-time high, pulled back 30+%, attacked the all-time high again, consolidated, and then went on and it was blast off. So let's look at what Ethereum did during this time. So check this out. As I slide along the bottom, I'm sliding on the bottom, you should see a dotted line going on the upper side as well. So as I slide on the bottom, there's a dotted line on the top as well. And as I do that, you can see Ethereum is starting to take off. And then really starting to take off. And it goes on to pull a 100x in the time that Bitcoin pulled a 20x at the same time, like from this same point. And this is from a lot of people entering Ethereum longs at the time. Okay, that's Ethereum. Maybe that was a fluke. Let's pull up Litecoin. Litecoin's OG. Let's see what happened with Litecoin. Litecoin had this multi-year consolidation. Ping, 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 ping. Highs, lows, highs, lows. Even Charlie Lee, he is known to have said that he sold a lot of his Litecoin bags at the like $5 and $6 range, like hundreds of thousands of Litecoin in this range, thinking it would never go higher. And then because he slept on retail, this is what I'm trying to help you guys understand. Don't sleep on retail. As Bitcoin was kind of in this area, Litecoin finally exploded out of its multi-year range and also pulled about a 100x. It went from the 3.6 to 300 and 400 on some exchanges, 360 on others. I think on Coinbase it hit like 420, which is crazy as hell. So that is pretty wild. But a good time to enter alts, which Alka, what I'm suggesting is maybe this is happening on micro coins right now. A really good time is during this last little interaction with the prior all-time high. And so I'm wondering if we're like, say we're like right here and we're about to get one last nasty shove up, which we're only 25% away from the prior all-time high. So let's see like where that would be. So that's roughly kind of right at this little consolidation range, which maybe that's what we're doing as well. I don't know. Who knows? This is a little parabolic advance as well, which is what we're doing in current time frames. So what we could be saying with these little alts like CVC or Loom or whatever, we might be seeing big money positioning into this with the expectation that an alt season is coming, and then they're gonna, Or option B is they're playing trades like this and selling it for Bitcoin to have Bitcoin for the next run. So you never really know. But I will always be the guy to tell you, when you see a trade like a chart like this, you missed the move. You missed it. You know, it's fine. It's not a big deal. Just move on. Don't chase it. You see a chart that pulls a 6x in a week, you missed it. You missed the move. Just move on. Okay. Alka chased it. Alka chased it and caught what, 30%? Or did you chase it more and lose it? Because on the Bitcoin pair, you may get stuck with alts that are like in a forever downtrend. You got to be careful what alts you're chasing. 38.21, that was gain. Okay, well that's, I mean, that's great. That's great. Nothing wrong with that. Let's talk about Doge real quick, and then I will pivot into another segment. Doge. This little, let me go back to this. Okay, switch here. Doge Bitcoin. All right, boys and girls. The last time Doge really pumped, it kissed 16 sats. And you can see as I move my cursor through here, it started taking off during this section of the Bitcoin trend. So all roads lead back to Bitcoin attacking its prior all-time high. Okay, this is the point I'm trying to make here. So if/when Bitcoin slaps its all-time high, that is a really good entry, or, you know, at least history would suggest is a good entry for something like Doge, maybe several other alts, as retail is flooding into their little small altcoin. On that note, going to bed. All right, Alka, take care, buddy. Good to see you. So I've been watching this for a while now, and let's look at what Doge is doing. It actually got down to 16 sats. I think it'll actually hit 15, and I'm not ready to enter because Bitcoin has not hit its prior all-time high yet. But once Bitcoin does hit its all-time high, hopefully this will bleed sideways, maybe go down and spend some time at 15 sats and not break it to the downside. Then I think this could be a really, really nasty entry for some wild upside. If we start making new lows, then it's kind of all bets are off, and, you know, I don't know. Throw $100 at it, whatever, if you feel like it, but it's not near as sure of a trade at that point. All right, let's check Bitcoin real quick. Bitcoin's looking good. Holding above this 15 minute EMA, which just happens to work. That's pretty funny. I'll at least leave it on the hour. Okay, chat. I think I've exhausted the crypto segment. We're about 90 minutes in. This is about the time people's like eyes glaze over when the professor's talking too much. So I get it. I feel it. I will put this on YouTube probably tomorrow or the next day. And if there's a segment you wanted to go back and review, there'll be the little timestamp for your segment. On that note, I believe I'm going to pivot into a Rocket League tournament where yet again, our chat member Atani has graciously offered to give us, our team, 1 Bitcoin each if we get first place in the tournament. So let me get into the Discord.